My name is Christy Fletcher. I'll be your moderator tonight. I am the Vice President of North American Young Generation in Nuclear, which is a nonprofit group of all volunteers. We focus on the professional development of our members as well as community outreach to promote nuclear energy. This side event, the youth's role in accelerating the clean energy transition, is going to be broken up into two parts. So the first half will be a panel discussion with our extraordinary panelists. The second part will be interactive discussion with our audience here in Dubai at COP28. And so it'll be an interactive brainstorming collaboration where hopefully you all make some new connections to bring back to your organizations. All right, so I want to ask a few questions because I think this is pretty much the last event of COP28. So who's had a good COP experience? Pretty much everyone, excellent. Who has learned something new while they've been here? Good, good, excellent. All right, last question. Who's made a new connection that you think is going to help you with your organization's goals? All right, well, see, y'all don't really even need this session. You already have made all the connections. No, hopefully you make some more connections here tonight, and you can take that back and collaborate here in the future, and your organizations will both be better for it. And with that, let's meet our panelists before we dive into our questions. So I'm going to ask our panelists to describe themselves, their role in their organization, and I'm also going to ask each of them to share a fun or interesting fact about themselves, again, this being the last session of COP. So for example, I play Ultimate Frisbee. I travel around the US playing with my husband. I do all the fun tournaments at a very low level. I do not play for competitive. So I'll turn it over.
So hello, my name is Rushal Khandelwal. I am an engineering student at Purdue University in America, but I am also a member of YOUNGO, which is the UNFCCC's largest children and youth constituency. At YOUNGO, I am a partnership building coordinator of the Energy Working Group, and I am part of the global coordination team. I'm also working to reactivate YOUNGO's science working group, and hopefully that will happen soon, and after COP, hopefully you guys can join us in those efforts. A fun fact about me is that in high school I took art, so I'm an engineer and heavily involved in STEM, but I believe that advancements in STEM should come at the interdisciplinary crossroads of humanities and the arts. So.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy it's the last session and we get to speak during this last session, so that's awesome. I'm Elsie Milan. I'm a PhD candidate at Imperial College London. I conduct research on evaluating and developing a novel decision-making framework for the adoption of carbon capture, utilization, and storage, as well as the development of blue hydrogen. I wear a lot of hats. I'm also the director of secretariat of AYEN. So AYEN is the European Young Energy Network. It encompasses youth from Europe who work towards, obviously, the energy transition, but they're part of their own networks. So what we do is we bring them together. We bring all organizations together to create a network where we share ideas, we share opportunities. We've been very active during this COP because we created a compass that has a lot of jobs in the green energy transition, and what are the skills needed for youth to have these jobs or to create these jobs. And it's kind of like a way for them to get to know, to get more information about, the sectors they like, the role that they can play. I'm also here because of the Arab Youth for COP, which is an initiative that's very new. It started a couple of years ago. And because the Arabs are composed, most of the Arab population is youth. More than 30% of our population is youth. We wanted to give them a seat on the table. And because of them, me and a lot of other Arabs were here today to express our thoughts. I wear a lot more hats, but I'm going to stick to these two for now because they played a crucial role here during COP28. Fun fact about me. I did Latin dancing for 9 years, but I cannot speak one word of Spanish. So, yeah.
Nice meeting you both. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Munas Eid Al-Suwaidi. I'm a senior program engineer, currently working at Baraka Nuclear Power Plants with almost 8 years of experience. I'm also International Youth Nuclear Congress Climate Change Project Manager. So I started my journey in nuclear industry as a scholarship student in 2012. And since then, I was really curious and passionate about energy and nuclear. So I was really enjoying my journey, and I started joining a lot of organizations such as youth councils, International Youth Nuclear Congress, Women in Nuclear. So I'm also part of Women in Nuclear Young Generation as well. And I'm happy to be here and to share my experience with energy sector and how can we support in climate change. And fun fact about me, I'm an international team women ice hockey player. So yeah, I had a lot of opportunities to participate internationally and locally. I think I can say like I traveled the world to play this sport, and full-time job, I'm a nuclear engineer. So nice meeting you all.
Those are great fun facts. Thank you. All right, moving into our panel discussion then. So this is the first part of this session. We've got 5 questions here, so each of y'all feel free to answer whichever questions you'd like. Elaborate as much as you will. All right, first question. What inspired you to get involved in climate action and clean energy initiatives? Was there a specific moment? And tell us about it.
So I was born in this city called Gurgaon, which is at the south of New Delhi in India. I think it's common knowledge that New Delhi and the greater Delhi area is highly polluted. And for example, in the morning, this morning, the air quality index in New Delhi was 330. In comparison, for example, in Beijing, which we all, I think, know, is also a very polluted city, the air quality index had an average of 120. So I have seen the first-hand effects of climate change, and I have seen the first-hand effects of what it does to families, what it does to our individual health. And I think that is one of the main things that motivated me to try and do something about it. So that's a bit about my motivations.
So for me, I was born in Lebanon. Lebanon is a very small country in the Middle East. It's like 10,453 kilometers square. It's like this. Barely shows on the map. But I mean, when you think about such country, you would say, okay, everything's perfect, right? It's a small country, easy to manage. Yeah, it's not. Because I grew up in this country that has few hours of electricity, that was known for being one of the most beautiful countries in the Middle East. But growing up, I discovered that this is wrong. I grew up knowing that we have the beautiful cedar tree mentioned in, the Old Testament, and it's pretty. But in 2015, my country was polluted. Trash was everywhere. And I was in university, and I saw a BBC report featuring one of our members of parliament walking like in a pile of waste. And I was thinking, all of these problems, we're losing our biodiversity. We're on the border of the Mediterranean Sea. It has more than 90 species. That's very rich. We're losing that. We can't get electricity. We are losing everything. Why? It's because of accelerated climate change. It is happening, but our actions are accelerating that. Instead of using solar panels to generate electricity, we import gas and oil that we feed to an infrastructure that is dated from the 60s, if not before. And then I thought, okay, this concept of climate change that is not known in this country and this region yet, okay, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to see how to solve such problem. And this is how I started.
Very inspiring story. Yeah.
Not really what you put the challenge.
For me, one specific moment I remember is that when I graduated 2012, I heard that the UAE is building 4 units of nuclear power plants. So I was impressed because during my time at school, we did not have a lot of nuclear energy mentioned during our study, like they were not focusing on that. So when I graduated, I was really curious and I wanted to be one of the first energy pioneer in this program. So I started as a scholarship student and I was really privileged to have this opportunity. And since then, I wanted to explore more, to understand more, to expand my network on this type of energy. And I wanted to also spread awareness. We can use this type of energy and how efficient and reliable this type of energy. And I was really proud of my country that they are looking to a different solution in producing electricity with zero carbon emission that can save our planet, our world from climate change.
Excellent. Those were all really inspiring. I know everybody here today pretty much has some kind of moment that you can all relate to, something that inspired you to take action, and that's probably why you're here today. And so I thank our panelists for sharing their backgrounds. All right, our next question, how do you see the role of the youth evolving to influence policy and advocate for sustainable practices at a larger scale? So how do you see it evolving or changing? Muna, let's start with you. Let's go reverse order this time.
For me, I believe youth have a crucial role in influencing policy and advocating for sustainable practices at a larger scale. Young people bring fresh perspectives and innovative ideas and strong sense of urgency to address climate change. They have the power to mobilize and amplify their voices through social media, grassroots movements, and youth-led initiatives. In terms of fostering cross-cultural collaboration and understanding, youth are natural bridge builders. So they have grown up in a globalized world connected through technology and social media. So by leveraging these platforms, they can connect with peers from different cultures and backgrounds to exchange ideas and work together towards common goals.
I go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So it's very simple for me. I mean, you take care of something that you inherit, right? If I'm going to be here in 20, 30 years, I want to have a say in what's happening, right? I noticed that the elders failed us. They failed us not in a kind of populist sense, but whenever you would see meetings or events, it's the same words, same ideas, same vague titles. But if you start digging deep into things, you see that these politicians or these people who are making all the decisions, they don't really care. They just want to do what's best for them, what's best for their own interests. So the role of the youth is crucial. Why? Not because they're youth. And in every panel I was during this COP, I stressed on the fact that I'm happy to be here, not because I'm young, but I'm young and I know things. I know things that I want to see. I know about energy. I want to do something out of it. I know AI. Who knows AI more, us or, I don't know, someone who's in their 50s? Maybe they know more in policies. Okay, I might get that. But AI, technology, and we live in a very fast-paced technology world. I mean, every day I take the metro to come here. I see beautiful Dubai. All of this because of technology, innovation. If you don't have a vision, you can't progress in the future. And nobody can have a vision if they know they're not going to live for the next 30, 40 years. Only those who see themselves in the future can imagine it and can execute it. And that's why I believe the role of the youth is important. The second thing is, I'm happy that in this COP, most of the discussions have youth in them. So the role of the youth has evolved since you know the Paris Agreement, the COP in Paris until now. We see more youth. We see a lot of activities. I mean, let's look around us. This is a festival. This is a festival. We're celebrating youth. I mean, coming here, I saw people cheering, and I asked my friend, "Is there a football game here?" They're like, "No, they're protesting." The voices of the youth are getting louder. This is a momentum that's very fast, and this wave will never be stopped. And us being here, youth, me looking at you, me looking at the panelists, we're all young, and it's amazing. This shows that we acknowledge our responsibility and we're ready to act. So let's embrace this enthusiasm and act.
Excellent. Rushal?
So first of all, I think that the youth have, as Elsie has mentioned, I think the youth has the biggest stake in the climate change's effect on us in the future. I also think that we are empowered, we are educated, and we are energetic, and we're here to act. We are ready to create change. We just have to be given the spaces to do that. In many ways, I think COP28 has set a precedent in this regard, and I think this will continue to be advanced in future COPs. I hope with the Youth Climate Champions and with Youngo, for example, the UNFCCC processes can fully engage youth into the future, not only just now, because, again, as Elsie has mentioned, we're really energetic and here to act, and we can create change because we're knowledgeable about it. We aren't less educated and experienced than policymakers. We are on the same level and on the same stage as they are in, because we simply understand this problem better than they do. We've experienced more effects of climate change than they have, and we will continue to experience more effects of climate change than they ever will.
Yeah, I really like what you ended with there. We will experience the effects of climate change more than they ever will. Very well done. All of that to say, the youth have accomplished a lot. We've come really far. We are now in the room, and so you can expect more to come from the youth in the future as we continue to evolve. All right, next question. How will technology play a role in accelerating the adoption of clean energy? Elsie, you've already kind of hinted at AI, so I'm probably going to start with you first. What innovative solutions have you already seen?
Whenever I'm like conducting research, looking at articles, I see a keyword, maturity. Like a technology is mature. Another thing is scalable, mature. We can scale it. It's like a fresh idea. All of these key terms, especially maturity, is very important when it comes to innovation and technology. Some of the key technologies I saw that are very hyped today is hydrogen. Hydrogen. Today I see a lot of countries that are colorblind, I don't care if it's green or blue or pink, but I care if there's a specific emissions threshold. The criteria for this technology is very important for hydrogen, for example. Another technology that I look at in my research is CCUS. It's very controversial. It's very controversial. And the fact that you can conduct research allows you to look at this technology and say, this is applicable here, but it's not applicable there. To specify the timeline where you can apply specific technology. So these are key topics that I see now in my research and that I encounter whenever I'm working. Hydrogen, PV, solar, wind, this is now mainstream, common. We always talk about it. We prefer it, we loved it, but there are very new technologies. Another thing is the application of AI, as I said, in all other sectors. I mean, I focused on energy specifically, but energy does not eliminate hard-to-abate sectors, cement, iron and steel, chemicals. This does not eliminate the role of energy in, let's say, agriculture, how this is in farming, how it's becoming, how AI, how this technology is playing a crucial role in kind of automating everything, making everything faster, making everything more efficient. And efficiency is key. If we look at the reports by IEA now, the first thing that they say, without mentioning any innovation, they don't say, okay, we want to do CCS, we want to do hydrogen, we want to do solar. They say, we have to adopt an efficient path. Efficiency. This is the problem, and this is the solution they hint at, and how you can reach efficiency faster if you employ these technologies like AI today. And that's, I mean, I haven't used ChatGPT in anything so far, but you know, AI is very, very interesting. You can use it in anything, and adopting it in technology is revolutionary. But it should be scalable, adaptable, we're able to fund it and available to everyone equitably.
Funding and available to everyone. Yeah, great points. Rushal, you want to go next?
So a big aspect I think we have to consider in the clean energy transition is being equitable and secure and reliable to everybody. A big concern I have as a person from a global south country, from India, is these technologies and the energy transition being feasible economically and scientifically to global south countries, because they simply cannot afford it. These new technologies like carbon capture, like nuclear, make the access to the clean energy transition easier than like it would be without access to these. We know that wind and solar by themselves are not as reliable consistently as, for example, nuclear is. And we know that definitely fossil fuels right now are more reliable than wind and solar. We also know that to make wind and solar reliable in the future, we will need some sort of battery technology that retains a lot of the efficiency of wind and solar. So I think advancements in technology is central and key to the energy transition, simply because we don't have the infrastructure in place to ensure a safe, secure, and reliable energy transition. So, yeah.
So I would like to add about like my field. I'm going to speak as an engineer. So in terms of achieving a sustainable future, there are several critical technological advancements. One of them is nuclear, such as the small modular reactor. So we can consider this as one of the solutions. Young people can contribute by advocating the development of these technologies and supporting policies that promote their adoption. They can also explore careers in nuclear energy and drive the innovation in this field as well.
Excellent answers, everyone. So a lot of technology out there that's going to be aiding clean energy. All right, moving on. How important is collaboration between youth-led initiatives and more established organizations and companies? I think most people probably suspect the answer, probably pretty important. So specifically, I ask you to share some success stories.
I think I can definitely go in on this. A big thing that Youngo loves to boast about is the fact that we represent the youth of the world. We are a representation of global youth from around the world. For example, our global youth statement represents 750,000 youth from around the world, from more than 160 different countries. And that largely comes from a coalition of different organizations, a coalition of different youth organizations. We are a strong voice, and we have become a strong voice because of this cross-constituency and cross-organization like collaboration. Without the amount of youth that we represent, we would not be able to access these policy-making spaces simply because we do not have the power of numbers. Now, ideally, of course, policymakers would give all the youth access to policy-making tables and discussions, but with the added benefit of having these numbers behind you, it can make like these spaces that will decide our future a lot more accessible, and I hope Youngo will continue to do that and has already done that in the past with previous COPs.
So I think we are all associated with youth and youth council and organizations. So I think this is a success. So we are getting there. We have our different platforms that has our voices. For me, Youth Councils in the UAE was established in 2018, so it's relatively new. And what I see in the different organizations and companies, they have like allocated a platform which is part of youth. So the youth are leading a lot of initiatives, a lot of changes within the organization itself and within the region. So I would like to mention one of the success story I had as my personal experience, that one of the initiatives we had is visiting schools, universities, and even visiting the elderly in their own majlis. So they gather in some place, and we had the opportunity to come and explain to them what is the technological advancements, what is the new energy that are used in the country, because you know the people who lives within the nuclear power plants are really surprised of the sudden construction of 4 buildings within the region. So we had to get the initiative to go around and educate them, raise awareness that these are nuclear power plant which produce electricity to the country, which will cover the demand of the country with 0 carbon emissions. So this was the youth perspective on how to be part of the community, to raise awareness, and be there for the whole region.
Those are some great success stories. So hopefully in the future, more than hopefully, we will have more success stories to share going forward. All right, this is our last question before we end the first portion of this session. Like I said at the beginning, this session is going to be broken into 2 parts. The first is the panel discussion. The second is going to be an interactive brainstorm collaboration. So we'll ask everybody to kind of stand up, walk around, talk to each other, and form connections. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So this is our last question for our panelists before we turn over to kind of part 2. So looking ahead, what impact do you hope to see as a result of your efforts in clean energy?
I will go first. Okay. As I continue my journey and efforts in the clean energy transition, I hope to see a significant impact on several points. Firstly, I hope to witness a sustainable reduction in the carbon emissions, leading to a healthier and sustainable environment for future generations. Secondly, I aim to see a widespread adoption of nuclear energy sources, solar, wind power energies, resulting in a diverse mix and a cleaner environment. Lastly, I aspire to witness increased awareness and education around clean energy, empowering individuals and communities to make informed choices and contribute to a greener world. I believe that together these efforts can pave the way for a brighter and more sustainable future.
I also wanted to say, by the way, that I also believe that companies like getting approval from and support from other companies is important, but we can talk about that later on. It's fine. I can share my experiences later on, but I conduct research on CCUS. Very controversial. Very, very, very controversial. Nuclear energy is sometimes very controversial as well. Like you would hear it everywhere, especially when you're in France and in Europe, you hear about it a lot. So in my research, when I joined Imperial, I got the President's Scholarship. It's not a scholarship endorsed by anybody. It's just alumni who want to help new students get into Imperial College, one of the top universities in the world. My advisor sat with me and asked me one thing: what do you want to work on? Like, what is the topic that interests you? I said, you know what? Since I'm free, nobody really is, holding my hand, telling me what to do. I don't want to work on things that are mainstream. I really don't want to work on things that everybody know about. I want to do something different. I want to go into this gray zone that people really don't want to go to. When you're a student, you don't really want to go to the difficult thing. You're like, give me the easy path. I really don't want to do more. I was like, no, I have 3.5 years. I want to study something that will give me backlash from one hand, and on the other hand, that is happening. It's all around me. I mean, I'm from the Middle East, so UAE, Saudi Arabia. I mean, if you have the chance to go to the Saudi pavilion, you will see how much the Saudi government is working on this technology. But I said there's only one thing missing: policy. It's not going to happen if you don't have policies, if you don't have regional collaborations, if you don't have standards, if you don't have certification systems. And you know what? I really want to do that. She looked at me, she's like, really? You get the chance to do anything, you want to do that? I was like, yes, I want to do that. And I really hope in the upcoming years, you know, we set targets 2030, 2050. And I'm really, and fun fact, we're closer to 2030 than we were to 2015. We're closer. Is something changing? Not really. So what I hope to see is technologies like CCUS, like nuclear, that are in this gray area, having people discuss them with simple terms, having this accessible to everyone, having the policies established for a country to look at it and be like, this is for me, no, this is not for me, yes, I want to do this, no, I'd rather, you know, stick to solar, stick to electrification. So this is something I really want to see. I really want to see actions. If we look at, you know, the outcomes of events like COP, we see big titles, big headlines. We don't really see how. We see the what. We don't see the how. I really want to see the how. And another thing is, whenever you talk about these technologies, it's very niche. If you're going to talk about nuclear, for example, you said it in front of people, you're going to explain to them, okay, this is nuclear, it does this, it provides electricity, right? I really hope that we reach a time where we don't really have to explain these concepts to people, where people already know, where it's part of their culture, of their education. This is also a big barrier. You have the North, you have the South. You have the technical terms that vary in each language. So I speak Arabic. Sometimes it's hard for me to translate something from English to Arabic. So I say it in English. People look at me, what is she saying? You know, so these are three things that I really hope to see. Transparency in the technology, accountability, and accessibility.
First off, as somebody who is a member of a youth constituency that represents global youth, I can definitely speak to the controversial characteristics of carbon capture and nuclear. But I think I can be a bit more, I will have to be a bit more general on providing input into what I want to see, because we represent global youth after all. I will say that at least from a younger perspective, I think we all want to see increased youth involvement in on negotiations tables, and that involves speaking about new technologies in simple terms, as Elsie has mentioned. Talking about these technologies in simple terms opens up the world to the youth. It opens up a world to policymakers to look at these technologies not as this scary thing, and to look at these technologies more as something that they can approach, something that they can tackle, something that is not shrouded in mystery and this like era of mist. So I hope, first of all, these tables are made more accessible to youth, youth are more included on these tables, and also that policymakers move away from this dangerously scary language used in the formulation of policy. I also want to see a wildly and rapidly accelerating clean energy transition. I think it's pretty fair that all of us hope for that. I hope to see a diversified energy mix that considers all global North, all global South countries. I hope to see a just energy transition that considers jobs, that considers the health and well-being of all of the individuals on Earth. I hope that whatever Youngo does, I hope the voices that we represent can lead to change in the climate policy area that can accomplish a fair and safe future for us all. So.
Excellent, thank you, panelists. So that concludes the first part of our session. Let's give our panelists a quick round of applause. right, so moving into part two, this is where, you know, if this is our last session at COP, let's make the most of it. I know I've sat in a lot of sessions, and so we're going to do something a little bit different here. This is our active brainstorming collaboration part of the session, and this will be the remainder of our time. I want you to go around and talk to people you've never met before. Find out who they are, what organization are they with, what does that organization do? Talk about ways that your organizations can collaborate and help each other and improve. We're the youth, we're the next generation. The world is going to be ours to live in. So we need to be planning ahead, always looking to the future. And so I challenge you here, before you leave, have one new connection with some kind of tentative idea about what kind of event or networking or collaboration you could have. The panelists will come down. If you have questions, feel free to come up. But we'll be walking around, and hopefully you all are walking around. But that concludes our panel part of this session. Sure, yeah, we've got a microphone. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi. So I'm Alka Tomar, and I represent an organization called Center for Youth. We are Delhi-based, and working with the University Grant Commission is an organization of the Government of India who is, we're representing all the higher education institution in the country, all the colleges and universities. So we are the monitoring agency for some of the actions. Now, I am very impressed with the kind of talk that is happening here. Youth on the table, youth is here, and they need a bigger pie in the conversation, in the discourses, in the decision. Everything is very, very nice. And so we definitely, because of Center for Youth, we definitely are pro-youth for everywhere, and we want to see them around. I was hearing you, and this experience is coming from the fact that we interact, engage with a lot of them, but for very long term, with long-term orienting, mentoring. So from that point, I'm coming. So I just want to know that what is the annual income of your family? Your family, annual income. I want to know what is the annual income you have, your family has. And when family, I'm talking about collective, whosoever is earning from whatever sources. I hope you know. No idea? You? No idea?
Family, I didn't get that.
So annual income is basically how much your family is earning, mother, father, sister, siblings, whosoever is working. And from whatever assets of rent, from whatever income sources you have. So that is called family income.
Yes, but like the family part is a bit weird to me.
Okay. The point I wanted to know that when you're saying you're representing youth of the world,
Yeah.
and we need to also understand that there are youth who their family income, because family income represent the opportunities, livelihood, what and where you're going to land, and what you're going to do in life, and then the kind of choices you are asking, do they have those choices? And majority of the population in different part of the country also represent where the family income is what you may spend in a month or a week or days. So let's look at very holistic perspective in terms of when we say CCU is bad, this is bad, this and that. I'm just saying we just need to have more perspectives and experiences. So just wanted to add because, and I don't want any reaction because I heard you, and I'm very happy that you people are talking and with such passion, and things will change, and things are changing. And that's the reason you see COP20, a lot of sessions, you are there. But I'm saying that let's just look deeper into knowledge and deeper into experiences also, and then drive the change, because you are ultimately the ambassador for those who are never ever can be here, ever. Just wanted to say that. just the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, but I
So I have to really rush, but thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the organization. I'll connect later and talk about it.
I'm so sorry. I just wanted to come in really, really quickly before you leave. I wanted to say thank you so much for bringing this point up, and this is exactly the point that Youngo is working for. We hope that the people that are here on behalf of Youngo can represent the youth that cannot be here, and we hope that our demands and the things that we want out of the policy that is being formulated at COP28 can be as ambitious as possible to try and advocate for the people that could not join us today because we.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Technology, XYZ, look deeper. Look deeper, understand deeper, results will be astonishing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, now we'll begin interactive brainstorming.